Hi, I'm Alfie Terry, and today I'm going to be talking to my dad, Francis Terry, about a blog that he wrote called Where Does Your Chicken Cross the Road? So, Dad, maybe just for those who haven't read the blog, what's the basic premise of this?
Yeah, this is an
blog?
idea I've had for a long time,
mm.
and I suppose partly inspired by looking at all the different people you need to produce a building.
Yeah.
You know, you've got people who are blue sky thinkers, imaginative, you've got people who are very good at putting things in boxes, you've got craftsmen, craftswomen, you've got a whole load of different skills, different perceptions, and I suppose what I was thinking, and I see it in the office, you know, that different people have different understandings, different things they find easy, different things they find difficult. And I don't know where I got this idea, but the joke, why did the chicken cross the road? Bad joke. But what I became interested in is to ask, where does the chicken cross the road? So, for example, I've taken to asking people, when you say, where does the chicken cross the road? Why did the chicken cross the road? And then you ask, where is that happening in your mind's eye? If the chicken kept on walking after it had crossed the road, where would it be? And for me, the chicken is an orange, sort of ginger-coloured chicken, and it's crossing Dedham High Street. Which I think is where I first heard the joke, because that's where I went to school. And it's crossing from the south side to the north side. And I sort of see it at the first bit of the road. And that is vivid to me.
Right.
And that's, I can't change it. If I tried to change it, my mind would just take me back there. And weirdly, it is, I think it must be to do with genetics, because my father and one of my sisters also has a chicken crossing in a very specific place. I then talked to more people, and some people have a chicken crossing a road as a book illustration. That's quite common. Or other people just say, well, it's funny because they'll say, oh, it's I'll have it crossing here one day, or that street there the next day. There's no specific place for the chicken crossing road. Mine is very, very specific. And then you get people who view it as a mathematical equation. Chicken, the word chicken written, and then an arrow, and that's it. And there are very different ways of looking at the world depending on whether you view it as like a mathematical equation, or whether you view it as something in sort of colourful technicolor, effectively. And I think that like I'm quite slow thinking about some things, because I'm trying to download all this data, unnecessary data actually, about the chicken, the colour of the sky, the colour of the road, what cars are there. And someone who could just have the word chicken written and an arrow would, you know, it becomes a mathematical equation, and that's much more useful.
Well, for certain things.
For certain things, exactly. And that's where does your chicken cross the road?
Yeah, well, see, I mean, I think I feature in the thing, don't I? Because I think you say, me and Claudia see it crossing the road by our old house.
Right, in Colchester.
But actually, I think I am. It's not like a hard and fast thing.
Oh, right, okay.
You know,
so you can change it.
To be honest, since reading your blog, I now see it in Dedham High Street.
Do you?
Yeah.
So you're easily persuaded.
I'm easily persuaded, yeah. But I think Joey sees it in Toy Story, doesn't he?
as a film.
As a film, yeah.
That's very him.
It is very him, yeah. But no, I mean, I guess they should do this as like a psychology experiment.
Well, maybe it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think it is.
They should make it into one.
Yeah.
No, I think it makes a lot of difference. If you think, say, the stories of the Bible. where you imagine those, it's really critical.
That's a really interesting point. Yeah.
I mean, I do imagine the Garden of Eden is the playground which we were going to, where that chicken was heading, actually.
Really?
Yeah. And, that would make a huge difference to the story. And I think that if you look at when travel was never easy until the 20th century, effectively. Well, no, I suppose up until the 18th century, no one really knew what was beyond their horizon. So, when Caravaggio was painting pictures of Jesus, he is in a tavern, which is a kind of 17th century Roman tavern. And that's fine. And then I guess it's with the Victorians that you get camels and an attempt at the architecture and all of that. But in a way, it's distancing. Because the story should stand as the story. And if it needs to be specifically Middle Eastern, then it's sort of like, ooh, that's a distant thing. That's not really us.
And it's funny, because given a bit of distance, it really works. Like, because I remember you saying this, like, a lot of the people like Caravaggio, it would just be kind of more of a, it would just look kind of Renaissance than how things were at the time of Jesus. But given a bit of distance, it does kind of, it doesn't look jarring, it kind of looks quite convincing.
What, the Caravaggios? Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that people are often doing this in plays, aren't they, where they make Shakespeare modern. Because, and there's that very famous Romeo and Juliet, which was done with Leonardo DiCaprio, which was a very kind of gangland rap thing. But it worked perfectly.
Kind of works, yeah. I mean, I guess words do have, I guess that's why we write, and why words are, and literature survives very long, is because you can kind of imagine it differently for everyone else. And I guess just going back to, the Bible, I guess you have those sort of Instagram things where you see how different people depict Jesus, like the Ethiopians, he looks like this, and
yes.
And in a sense, that's not really
right for them.
Yeah, it sort of works how they make sense of it. But the words, if you like, is the same.
Yes.
There's something eternal about.
Well,
literature.
I think that's really that is interesting. I think that words are, a turn of phrase, a brilliant phrase. The first should be last, the last should be first. Whatever it is, or to be or not to be, or whatever. It just goes beyond translation, or that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger, or they can be translated and they still work. Or I guess it's a brilliant thought. And I suppose I suppose what I was interested in is the way that you represent things in your mind. Affects your attitude to things, and it affects. Well, I suppose drawing this back to architecture, you can see how some people, when I show someone a plan, this is about architecture. When you show someone a plan, I see a plan of a house. I can see it. I can see the furniture. I can imagine it. I can see the light coming in the windows. I can see that door looks too tight. I can, or the sofa's too close to the table, or whatever it is. And in the same way that a lawyer can look at a contract and sort of just go, that clause isn't going to work, or an accountant can look at a spreadsheet and just pick up what's wrong with it. I suppose that was my point, is that there is different things will fire in different people's minds. And I think that the chicken crossing the road was a really great way to show how different everyone is.
I mean, one thing I think that's quite interesting that you say in the blog is that it like affects the story where you imagine it, because your chicken's just having quite a nice time sort of crossing that road. But I think you mentioned some people imagine a really busy road, and that kind of tells a completely different story. It's
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
why is that
With
chicken?
the same words.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the chicken's kind of a heroic figure almost.
Yes, 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 absolutely.
Yeah, so that is really really quite strange. But I guess the other point you're making with that is you need, in an architectural team, you need someone who is very methodical and thinks
Yeah.
things through very clearly, but then
Yeah.
you need a
Plans
bit of blue sky thinking as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I dare say, if you were picking a team, maybe you would want different answers
Yeah,
depending on whether it's a architect, quantitative, the legal side, whatever. And you would like them to have, so they focus on things that is natural for their brain to focus on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, what do you make of, because Mum imagines it as just a word,
Yes,
chicken,
and a line.
And a line.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the most interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. But she's very scientific, mathematical in approach, and thinks very quickly.
Yeah.
Whilst I take a long time to think, and I sort of kick myself, but it does have a function.
It does. Yeah.
I mean, I did hear that some people who have really good instincts are often have something like dyslexia or whatever.
Yeah.
So they can't actually rely on language or reading their way out of problems. They need to rely on other things, instinct, and they hone their instinct. It's a bit like, blind people have their other senses have to compensate.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's a version of that. We're all different. And I suppose one of the kind of glorious things about putting up a building is that it does take lots of different people to make these structures. And it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. And I suppose another thing you say about this is you struggle to read for that reason, because if you have a sentence like "she walks into the room,"
yes,
you'll imagine one room, but then it's like and she saw the boats, and then you got to switch.
Yeah,
switch
exactly. Because if someone says, she walked into the dining room.
Yeah.
And I'm immediately seeing a dining room I know.
Yeah.
And then they said, as you said, that they looked out of the window and saw the boats come in full of fish from that day's catch. And then I go, oh no, I'm imagining my parents' dining room.
Yeah.
So I have to think, do I change the location to a dining room I know that actually has a view of the sea?
Yeah.
Or do I try and put in the sea into my vision?
Yeah. And I remember you saying that biographies are easier. I find it quite entertaining that biographies are easier to read because they're a real place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can go there.
You can go there, yeah.
Yeah, you can see what it looks like.
But I often wonder with that, let's say, you haven't been to their house exactly, so how do you know what it looks like?
Well, I've got a whole lot of defaults basically.
Okay.
The houses I've lived in.
Yeah.
They will just always crop up.
Yeah.
And one of my sisters, I was talking about a Times of Mr. Ripley, the book, and we both had Ripley burying one of his victims in the same place.
Really?
It was in the Adventure Playground.
Really?
That
is weird.
Yeah.
That is weird. I wonder what that represents about the.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's some evolutionary advantage to all these different ways of thinking, and different bits of the brain fire up for different people.
Do you know that that story? I'm sure you know it, like the writing on the wall bits in the Bible.
Yeah.
Because
Belshazzar's
feast, yeah. Because actually Liz was showing me this when I stayed round, but there's that one painting. I think it's by Caravaggio, isn't it? Where he it's kind of quite an intimate thing.
Well, the famous one
Yeah.
is in the National Gallery, and it's by Rembrandt.
Rembrandt, yeah.
And it's quite Caravaggio in quality. Yeah.
And it's kind of quite an intimate scene, and the hands kind of
Yeah,
reading and stuff.
yeah.
But then there's another one by another artist, where it's like this big feast, and there's a really long table, and then the writing's on the side of the building. Do you know which one that is?
I don't know
I think
that
it's
one.
another Dutch painter, but it's so interesting because it's the same story. He's at a
Right.
feast.
And is it what does the second story make you think?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a different setting, and it makes you think different things. I guess in the first one maybe you feel a bit more sorry for him because it's a more intimate setting. It's a smaller
scary.
feast. It's a very scary painting.
Yeah, it is. It is. No, I think it's brilliant, and his expression is kind of like,
Yeah.
and I've got all this wealth, and what have I done, and it can be taken, and because sometimes, a bit like this painting here, actually, you don't really know what the subject is, and they had to make these paintings into biblical scenes in order to be commissioned.
Right.
But
Okay.
the fact that they're Belshazzar's feast is just like, how can we,
Yeah.
so just put some writing on the wall,
Yeah,
and that will do
yeah.
the trick. So was the other painting a scary one or not?
Yeah, in a very different way because it's really grand, and it's an enormous building that the writing's on.
Is it a big painting?
Yeah, I think it's pretty big. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
No, I'll have to show you it. But yeah, I mean, I know what you mean about kind of paintings where you don't know what the subject is.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think your point was that in the same way that you can get that phrase, "Where did the chicken cross the road?" or the girl walked into the dining room, and people see it differently.
Yeah.
And there's no good way of doing it. That it is just how your brain's set up. I suppose. And, I mean, I suppose you can slightly train your brain to be different, but there is a natural thing for your mind's eye to conjure up, and some people will be very vivid, some will be not vivid, and that's how it is.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, on that note, thanks very much for watching, everyone. And if you're interested, of course, check out the blog. It's a very good read. And we'll see you in the next one.